Hello, my name is Kendall Cobb with Infinite Elements of Love Ministries. This is our ministry page, which is based upon our personal relationships according to the word that we have had with Yahweh. Perhaps you call him God or Elohim, or also Yahushua is the same person. So we are not a substitute for church. We are here to share our personal testimonies and what we've experienced as His witnesses to His power and His glory. So I do suggest that you do find a local church that preaches truth. I suggest the Acts 2:38 message. I personally go to the Sanctuary of Orlando. So any church that is preaching the same message, I definitely highly suggest. I also suggest that you have a personal relationship with Elohim, Yahushua, so that you can personally get to know him better and read the word. Now, if you are on the YouTube channel, please visit our website, www.infiniteelementsoflove.org. Now, I wanted to introduce to you this particular series. This is video number 1, our first ministry series, and the name of this series is The Kingdom of Heaven Over Society. Each video should be between 10 to 15 minutes long, broken up in sizable chunks. Now, some of these things will require some research. That's why they're kind of compacted and they're broken into sizable chunks. You can go back, look at YouTube, go to your library so you can see some of the research. I'm not going to have time during the video to give every single source, but one of our sources obviously will always be the Bible. So with that being said, let's get started. So we already know that society is obviously, it's not perfect. Since the beginning of time, it's never been perfect. We try our best to do the best that we can with what we have. So we're going to make some comparisons. Now, society cannot provide us with, has failed in providing us with clean water. So here's one of those research tips. When you go out there, you'll see some of the general information online. I'll try to post some content involved with that research so that you can see it for yourself. So look online and you'll see we do not have clean water to drink. Some of the companies that provide bottled water, still there's plastic in the water. This is general information. Take a look at it. Society has failed to provide us with clean food. Everybody's heard the rave about organics. They've heard the issues with junk food. They've heard the issues with the meat industry. I will use a reference here. So if you get a chance, look at What the Health movie. It's a movie documentary on the meat industry and some of the issues there. And yes, I do promote clean, healthy fruits and vegetables over any dead animals, as far as dead cows or dead chickens or dead dogs. You know, you can look at someone else and judge them because they eat dead dogs, but it's all dead creatures of the Most High, Yahushua. So it's all death, no matter what kind of creature you're eating. But what is of life is the fruits and the vegetables. So hopefully, if I haven't lost you yet, if you're still hanging on, then let's get into a few more issues that we have that have not been addressed through our society. Society has failed us in providing us with equality. Equality is something that's not there. Society has failed us in educating us in love and our spiritual relationship and our spirituality. So these are some of the things that only Yahushua, Yahweh, the Most High, can fill in those gaps. So I want to talk about, now we've talked about society, let me talk quickly about the kingdom of heaven before our time runs out here. So I'm going to start off, what are the desires? This is the question. What are the desires of the Most High? So the desires of the Most High are clear, and it shows you in the first 2 chapters of the Bible. How do we know it's good? How do we know it's the Spirit? The Spirit was hovering over the face of the waters. This was in verse 2 of Genesis. And it says here, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters. So here we have it. How do we know what the Spirit deems good, kind, gentle, meekness? We look at the beginning where the Spirit was. So it's very simple to know what direction we should be going in. Now, after the fall of man, which happens in Genesis chapter 3, everything after that is something that he allowed. And so what he allowed to happen is punishment and correction. Now that punishment and correction included the death of man, the death of creatures, in which he had established for us to have dominion over. And now we're here, we would be killing and both cursing the earth and cursing ourselves through all the killing and the murder that would be going on through man and through his creatures. And so all the suffering and the pain, the creatures feel pain also, but he allowed this to happen, and he also deemed it to happen. If you look at the website, Ezekiel chapter 20:25 is on the ministry page. Because we did not obey his statutes and commandments, he gave us statutes and commandments that caused us and our children to walk through the fire, things that were not good. Now this happened because we did not obey his statutes and commandments from the beginning. Now I want to kind of give an introduction, so I'm not going to get into every detail yet. You will get that in the next video. We're going to break this thing down. But I want to go to also Luke chapter 17:21. Now I'm going to read a little bit up and a little bit down. So maybe I'll start at about verse 20 or 19. Uh, 20. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of Yahushua or Yahweh should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of heaven comes not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. For behold, the kingdom of heaven is within you. So here we see that the kingdom of heaven is within you. And sometimes we think, okay, well, what does that mean? So I noticed that through the love that he's placed in my heart for all that he has created and for the order that he desired for our lives, which is represented in the beginning in Genesis and is also represented in Revelations. He came to save and seek that which was lost. Where were we lost from? We were lost from the garden. Where did we fall from? We fell from the garden. So he's saving us back to where? The garden. And so with that being said, is everything in between is to bring us back to that place. So if we get punished and corrected, then it's not that he doesn't love us. We know that our fathers love us and they correct us. So how much more do we see the creator of everything stepping in on our behalf to cause some punishment and pain and correction? Without such things, we would not be able to change or know how to change. So these are the things that happen. Now in the book of Revelations, chapter 21, starting at verse 4, we kind of get an idea of, and I'm going to go there real quickly, of what he means, or how it reverts back to what he desired from the beginning. He says in many places, especially in many times in Revelations, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. So the ending is much like the beginning. He's trying to bring us to a place where we didn't see death, things of that nature. So I look here in verse 4, and Elohim, or Yahushua, Yahweh, shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So I wanted to get these three scriptures in here. We started at Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, talking about how the Spirit is represented from the beginning. And we know that we should worship him in spirit and in truth. So we want to see, well, what is it that the Spirit desires? And then we went to Luke chapter 17, 20 through 21, and it talked about how the kingdom of heaven is within us. And so we relate that to the spiritual element of how we love the order that he established from the beginning, rather than the later order that came for punishment and correction. So the desires were in chapter 1 and 2, and we see them at the end. So here at the end now, what we're trying to depict here is, if there's no more death, then that means I can't kill anything to eat it. Okay? And if there's no more pain, I can't cause pain to anything. Now we know also in this chapter, it talks about the gates will be opened and many different things. But for the sake of time, I wanted to just give that brief introduction of what the kingdom of heaven looks like, some of the points. We'll get into more detail in the next video, which will be the Kingdom of Heaven over Society video 2. Please do join us for this wonderful series that's going to bring you back to Yahushua, Yahweh, the Most High, to his love, to his order, to his desires. And I'll leave you with one last thing. The Bible holds two specific points. And those 2 points are, in the book of Genesis, what the Most High desires, and the rest of the Bible, what the Most High allowed, what Yahushua and the Most High allowed. So these are the things that we want to keep in mind as we move forward in this series. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave comments, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. Thank you. Yahushua bless, and may his face shine upon you and give you rest and peace.